what would it be, girl?
Um, if I knew about journaling long years ago, I would have started journaling a long time ago so that I could have a real full story of my story. Because a lot of things, when we get older, we don't remember everything. So we can't tell our story the way that it should be told. Some people have great memories, some of us don't. I couldn't tell you a lot of things about when I was younger, but as far as what Jacqueline was saying, about being loved and, giving your love and trying to look for love in all the wrong places type of thing for the man like my father was, that's hard. And then you, like she says, you give so much, or men see you as a certain object, but they don't see your mind. They just see what you look like because they're aesthetic people. And so, even today, I'll go to the gas station and I'll be gassing up, and young man will come, can I pump your gas for you? It's like, oh Lord, what you want now? Type of thing. So it's like, so, I'll let them pump the gas and whatever. But it's like, they see the way that I look, but they don't know my mind. And I wish that, I had a shirt on. I wish I could have a shirt. I do have a mind. I just don't have a body. But other than that, I wish I could journal, would have journaled a lot more so that I could document my mother, document my father, my sister, which all three of them are now gone. And I still have my three brothers left. But that's one thing that I would change. Other than that, I I would say I can't say I liked everything about my life, but I wouldn't change much about my life other than just quit being a scaredy cat because I was shy. When I was younger, I mean, I was very shy. Now I'm not as shy, but I until I get to know you, I kind of stay on the quiet side and keep my guard up. But other than that, that's all I would change. I would just learn. Uh, Wish I would have journaled more, and that's what I tell people now. Start journaling so that you have something to leave, a legacy type of thing.
Yes.
So that's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. I'm going to comment on what you said and what Jacqueline said, but I'm going to go to Melanie.
Hmm.
Melanie, if you could change anything, what would it be?
Um, if I if I'm honest with myself, the one thing that I would like to change about me is being able to talk about me. Um, that's the hardest thing that I have found for me in my life because all of the things that I've experienced, good and bad, have brought me to this place. And for a long time, I didn't know what happiness felt like, but I promise you, I can tell people what happiness feels like because I'm there now. And all of the things that happened to me and I experienced got me to this point where I am happy and I feel completely free. But the one thing I can't do is talk about me. Well, I didn't mean to rhyme then, that wasn't intentional. But
It comes
I
natural,
want to
girl.
be able to open up. Thank you. I want to be able to open up and you know, celebrate me, not in a way, like you said, to be boastful, but in a way to encourage someone else, to let them know, hey, all this stuff that you saw me go through, all this that you witnessed as being a part of my life, it didn't get me down. I'm still progressing, I'm still moving, and I want to be able to talk about my life so people can understand that they can have that too. It's
Mhm.
not exclusive.
That's good.
So that's the one thing that I would love to do, just to be able to share with someone so they know, hey, just like I did it, you can do it and more. Just put that foot forward and keep on going. So that's the one thing I would like to change about me.
I love that. I wanted to comment. Thank you, Melanie. I want to comment on something that you said, Jacqueline, and you said, Inez. When we are as human beings, we're visual creatures, and so we see because we don't know about anybody until they open their mouth. So what we see, we attract what we attract. So we see something that looks nice, that looks beautiful, and then we make the determination once they open their mouths. And it's amazing to me as I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm loving the conversation, because our stories matter. All of our stories matter. Inez, you said everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. So we're all different. We're all made up different. Our genetic makeups are different. Everybody's represented on here. We're thin. We're thin, we're large, we're light, we're dark, we're black, we're white, we have long hair, short hair, natural hair, kinky hair, whatever. We're all different. And so it's amazing. If you look at the screen, we all represent a different background. But here it is. And I'm gonna say this. Jacqueline, you just said, you wonder if, there are people who look at you and say, okay, she's beautiful, but they see the body, and will they have, if I looked different, if I was a different shade, will those same people who look to me as eye candy, as a piece of beauty, would they still care for me? And then I look at some of my experiences where I'm a large woman, and somebody can look at me and have no idea the quality of person that I am, and the magnitude that I bring to the table, the intellect that I am. And you know what? When I learned that it was okay for me that a po dog don't wag his own tail, I started learning how to wag my own tail. So I'm wagging my own tail, because, so I say that to say, for the people who look at people for the outward and don't even take the time to get to know the inward, then you miss out on an opportunity, and go on about your business, because you weren't supposed to be a part of my life in the beginning.
Exactly.
And so, for
Exactly.
that, when that comes, and it will come, and it's the flip side. You have those, and you have those women who look for the eye candy, and then when they open up their mouth, you like, what did I get into?
Mm-hmm.
What in the world is that? So it's the same way, and it's amazing to me, because we are, as women, there is no reason why women need to be competing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
No,
There is
I think
no need.
it
No,
was
no, no. I'm not saying that. Hold on one second. I'm not saying the competing against each other in that way. I'm saying in the world, you have people who are like, I don't like her because she's light skinned. I don't like her because she's dark. I don't like her because she's large. You have the cliques. That it's the world, and of it's because that's the natural order of things, because people pit people against each other, because as long as I'm pitted against you, then it's going to take away from whatever is going on with me. I don't need anybody to say. So I'm going to be the initiator, and I'm going to start what is it? The mean girls.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
as women, when we recognize, and it's a whole level of maturity, and I don't mean that with age, because we all know people who are older or younger who have not matured at all.
Mm-hmm.
So as women, our stories are so important, because when we go through the things that we go through as women, there's a thing that says, okay, a woman needs to be able to straighten another person's crown. For those of you who know me, I'm very, 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 very particular with getting involved in things. I watch and I verify and observe. Inez is nodding her head, because I am very particular, and I get quiet if I'm quiet and I'm not doing anything. I'm observing, so I'm very particular about who I mesh with, and so I'm also very particular about people tearing people down. I don't like that, because I've been on the other end of that. I've been the cripple girl. I've been picked out to be picked on. I've been the fat girl, because I'm a large girl, then I'm lazy. And and because with all of the conditions that I have, I do more before 7 a.m. than most people do all day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's every
Mm-hmm.
day,
Mm-hmm.
even when I'm sick. So I appreciate the shares, and as we go forward, I love the fact that you guys, every single one of you, are strong individuals in your own right, and you can, and LaJuan, you said something. I'm saying no unapologetically. or I'm saying yes unapologetically to yourself. And that's period. That's period. You don't start another paragraph. You don't start another sentence. That's period. So I absolutely love that. So thank you guys for sharing. And so now I'm going to come back around and we're going to talk we got about, we're going to talk about this like 20 minutes. We're going to talk about mental health and mental wellness because as women, I'm gonna tell you, and you guys, I think every one of you have heard me. Probably, Lawan, you probably haven't heard me say this, but you guys have heard me say there are some times when I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am not okay. Sometimes you look strong and, people look at me and say, oh, you don't look like you're going through anything. Lawan, you said that. Jacqueline, you said that. We've all said that because people look and say, oh, she fine. Oh, she gonna be okay. You don't look like you, girl, you good. But some days we are not okay because we are suffering in silence.
Mm-hmm.
We are suffering in silence. And so let's talk about that for a minute because our stories matter. Because if I'm suffering in silence, if you don't know what I'm going through, then you have no idea that I've gone through what you're in the middle of going through right now. And you don't have to suffer in silence. I like the fact that I can pick up the phone and call anybody. And LaWan, you on that list now, girl. You on the list, girl. I can pick up the phone and call somebody and just have a conversation. And anybody know they can pick up the phone and call me. Now I don't answer as quick as I used to do because State Farm got me ching ching. I'm just saying. But I still talk to people. Inez be like, listen, call me early in the morning. Okay. 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm woke. We talking. So let's talk about mental health, mental wellness. How are we doing? How are we doing? Liz, you talked about having a brother with mental illness and what your mother went through. It's a lot. It's a lot. So let's talk about that for a few minutes. How are we doing? When you get up in the morning and you feel like I'm not okay, I'm not okay. What do you do? Nicole, what do you do? When it's like, hey, I'm not okay. What do you do?
Well, you know what? I walk, uh I pray. Sometimes I got to get in the recliner with a glass of wine, but I do whatever I need to do to take care of myself, or I get out the house and go somewhere so I can take my mind off of it or whatever. But I do think, self care is important now. So people wasn't really talking about self care before. So I'm glad, that we are learning that we have to take care of ourselves, and it's okay not to be okay. People are going to therapists now. Nobody ever talked about that before. Before it was like, oh, as Black people, we don't go talk to a therapist, but people are doing it more now. So that's very good. And I
Yeah,
have a daughter who's a therapist, so that's wonderful. But yeah, I do whatever I have to do to take care of myself, and I don't worry about it. I'm not ashamed about it, but.
I like that. I like that. Miss Jacqueline Young Landy. I know y'all, if y'all don't follow her page, you're best to because you will be entertained because she takes care, she does her self-care, honey. Jacqueline, come on
So
with it, girl.
I'm a child of God, so I have to be vigilant on my self-talk. Your mind is so powerful, and what you keep replaying in your mind, doubt, worthy, I'm not good enough. You got to change those self, because if you don't change it, your reality won't change. So you have to rewrite the script. Rewrite the script. You are worthy. I'm a child of God. I am a queen. I am enough. And that self-talk, new self-talk, will play out to your reality. That's what I do every day, because my mom was a single mom, and I was brought up just two of us, my sister and I. And if I don't do that, if I don't change that self-talk, I'm going to be where I was ago, 10 years ago. And that's how I do it. I change that self-talk in my mind.
I like that. I like that. What you say to yourself, if you can believe a lie about yourself, you can certainly believe the truth about yourself.
Yep. Oh
I
yeah.
am beautiful. I love myself. That's my favorite. It's my favorite. I love myself. And you say it, you fake it till you feel it. I love
Exactly.
myself until
Yep.
you know you love yourself. My I love myself used to be I love myself, but now I love myself.
I love
I don't
myself.
care. I don't care if you don't like what I look like. That's your business. What you think
Exactly.
about me is not my business. That's your business. I love me. Okay. Miss
Mhm.
Carolyn Coleman, what you do when what you do when you have those days? It's like, okay, I'm not okay today.
Well, I exercise. Um, I am not at goal. At one time I was. Um, but I have pulled out my little mini trampoline. I've started back to line dancing. I'm ready to start back to walking. And sometimes you just need to walk away from stuff. You just need to walk away. It will be here when you get back. I can assure you. I don't care if it's on the job, in the house, because nobody's going to take care of it. Then it's not, so why do you have to basically break yourself down in order to get things together?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm going to put me first. I have learned how to put me first. I was that person, like in my introduction, I'm the one that everybody comes to. Well, yes, but over the years, it has been no, no, no. Well, why not? Because I said no. No is a complete sentence. I don't owe you an explanation about that. That's it. And I know it was shocking, for me to get to that point, but I had to get to that point. Because and not to be malicious, but to save myself. Because I've had jobs that were very emotionally demanding, um, mentally demanding, and then you drive home. You drive home, and you're like, I'm taking these people home with me in my head. I have to let them stay. That's who they were before I met them. That's what they're going to be when I get back tomorrow. But you still give them the best that you have because you're looking for a positive outcome for that patient, for that family. So you have to learn how to say no to others, to say yes to yourself. Now, the last couple of weeks, I haven't been sleeping the best because I've been kind of getting all these assignments from various people. But guess what? They need to be done. It's going to be a short term goal, but it needs to be done. But so I'm prioritizing that. I didn't work out today because I decided, let me run my necessary errands. So you have to prioritize. And if it takes turning off the radio, because I like to listen to the music while I'm working, if that takes turning, there's too much stimulation going on up in here. I need to let something go for a minute, for 30 minutes, for an hour, so that I can concentrate on what needs to be concentrated on and still have a healthy me at the end of the day. So,
Love it. I
and,
love
and, and exercise is very cathartic. It's very therapeutic. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. I'm not looking for all of that. I just want to be as healthy as I can be.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Liz, what do you do? What do you do? And guys, we're gonna go through quickly because we're gonna wrap up. So because I want to give everybody a chance to say how people can connect with you and what you're working on and what you got coming up. But Liz, what do you do when you're on those days when you're just not okay?
From trying to take care of, like when I was taking care of my mom, there was a point that it was too much because I was basically taking care of her and working and everything. So when I felt like, okay, this is too much, then I say, okay, I have to hire somebody to help me and I have to take one day off and go somewhere, and that would help me, for example. Or when I'm helping my brother, um, I say, okay, I'm going to help him for 2 hours or 3 hours, and then I get tired. I say, okay, that's it. That's for the next week. So you have to know know your limits, and like everybody said, like say no, because you know that I used to always say yes to everything, and now I'm learning to say no more often, which is so important. And also, like somebody else mentioned about how your thoughts are. So as long as your thoughts are positive and you pray to God, you know, things start turning around. You know, it's a lot has to be a lot is about the thought.
Thank you. I like that. I like how we've all learned how to say no, or learning to say yes or no to what's important. Learning that. I like that. And it's all about the mindset. Dr. Audrey Ann, what about you? When you ain't okay on those days, what do you do? Did I come to you already? See, guys, I forgot. I'm getting older. You're muted, Dr. Audrey Ann.
I'm sorry, I didn't know it was.
It went back to mute.
Okay, there we go.
So what do you do on those days when you're not okay, or as Nicole said, what do you do for yourself, for your self-care?
Yeah. Well, you know, just because you're a psychologist doesn't mean that you do all the right things for yourself, you know. And so a lot of times I have to um remember the things I used to tell my clients when I was practicing a lot, and then I'd have to do those things for myself. So I enjoy. I had a surgery in October, so I had to stop going to the Y, and I was a part of the silver sneakers class, and I really enjoyed that class. And I had to stop because of my physical therapy. But now I'm able to do the physical therapy and go to the class, and I really enjoy it because um, you know, I get my body moving, but it just helps me to be able to get out of the house and to be able to just, you know, get some fresh air. I live in the country, so sometimes I'll go out. The weather's getting better. So my happy place is in the dirt. So I'm happy that I'm gonna be able to go out and start playing in the dirt soon, and plant my garden and everything.
I like that.
And yeah, that's my happy place. So that's, you know, I love listening to music. I'm not a TV person, but I love listening to the radio. It's a computer now, but you know, I love listening to the radio. And you know, sometimes I just sit by myself and my husband, are you all right? And I'm like, I'm fine. Are you all right? I'm fine. You know, and then eventually I'm fine, you know. So,
I
you know,
like
that's what I do.
I like that. That's
Self-care.
processing. That's the processing. We're okay. We're even when we're not okay. If you just give us a minute, just give me a minute. Let me process it. I'm a process.
Yeah,
Let me process it. I'm gonna be okay.
yeah,
Thank you, Dr.
yeah.
Ann. Lawan, what do you do? What do you? She like, there me again. What do you do when you're not feeling when you're not okay? What is it you do to get to that okay place, or like Dr. Audrey said, to your happy place?
So mine is going to be really unorthodox. So because a lot of you don't know my story, so I try to share a little bit of my story to help you understand my process. So I dealt with a lot of depression and suicidal thoughts since I was 12. So as I got older, um, I would actually listen to morbid things, believe it or not. Um, the first time I realized I was doing it, I was doing it subconsciously, but I was wanting to understand what made it this bad. Is it this bad? And I would compare what this person did or how this person's life went, like, and ask myself the question, is it this bad? Is it this bad? And it would get me to get to a perspective to get out of the thought at least. And when it comes to right now where I am, I'm in a position where I don't have an outlet. So what I end up doing is basically compiling it. And then my release is, like I did this week, is drive. Put on the music I want to put on. And it's really strictly because of my current situation. I'm technically homeless. I'm staying with friends in New York, but I work and technically live in Georgia. So I'm driving back to New York because I don't have any way to stay in Georgia right now. So me not having an outlet there because I'm with married friends and they got their routine and I don't have a significant other. My kids are where they're at. I have to process a lot by myself. The weather wasn't great. I don't have the proper clothing. Like it's a lot. So a lot of things will compartmentalize and I just wait until I have an opportunity to go outside, like to really kind of like say, all right, I'm at my brink. If I don't get outside and play some loud music and get some air, this isn't going to go well. But I've had to learn to stop emotionally dumping on people because I'm learning that although people want to care, they really don't. And I hate to say it. I know that's not the thing to really say. Sometimes people are they got too much of their own stuff in their own heads and in their own hearts, and they don't have room for you. And that's not bad. I had to come to a place recently with a relative and say, I can't. I have too much. Basically, what you guys are saying, the no. And you realize when you put up that boundary with people, how much they respect your process too. And what they take for granted, and what I actually have to pull straws to get my self-talk. I have to pull from, just like the young lady Jacqueline was saying, where I can sit here and tell you how many men say I'm beautiful and all that other stuff, but I've never had a man affirm me. I've never had a man tell me they love me for the intellect. They love that I create a safe space for them to talk, though. They love that I allow them to be vulnerable sexually or intimately, but they don't care about what my mental health is doing. I didn't grow up with affirming words, so I have to create them. So for those who may have had a parent who hugged and loved on them or gave them some kind of confidence, I don't have any of that to pull from. So I'm constantly creating these things to validate myself. As someone said to me just recently, he said, are you telling me to convince yourself or telling me to convince me? And I had to think about that for a second. And I had to say, you know what? It is to convince me, because who else is going to give it to me? I can't keep looking for other people to validate who I am and what I believe about who I am as a person. So I'm saying all that to say that is my transitions of how I process. I don't have a clean cut, positivity, optimism all the time, and how I process my bad days. So yeah.
Girl, I am, it's very difficult for me to be at a loss for words because I always have words. I always have a string of letters to put together to say. But I admire your strength because you've not, and I know you was like, I've not done this before. This is the first time I've done this. And for you to share and be so transparent and be so open and so honest, I appreciate that. And to to have the strength enough to share your situation, your current situation. And so for and you don't know it. You don't know it. And it goes back to what we said. If we were not in this setting, I would not have known that. We wouldn't have known that, because you show up every day. And I know when I got a question, you like, hey, here's the answer, and you show up. So I work with Lawan at State Farm, and I work with Liz at State Farm. That's my insurance gig, y'all, where I got to have medical insurance. PayPro V is my baby. Y'all know that. That's my story, y'all. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I want you to leave your contact information, because you have an abundance of people on this page who will hear you, who will listen to you. And listen, and there are, you're right, there are people who will say, hey, how you doing, and they don't really care. But I promise you, you have people on this call who care. They really do care. And it isn't it, and I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not blowing smoke. They really do care. They really want to know, how are you? And we want you to be okay. We want all of us to be okay. Okay. And we can't do that if we don't support each other. If we don't, I can't do it without, I have these people call me every day. How you doing? And sometimes I don't see the call. Sometimes I'm so overwhelmed in everything I'm going through that I can't respond, but I know that they care. So, it's a circle of people who care. Okay.
And I
And
would
I
say,
want you to know that.
I want to, because I know I'm going to share this with some friends, and it's not that I don't feel like they don't care. It's
I
a
know.
matter of, there's sometimes you just don't have enough
Yeah,
space,
you fool
you know?
yourself. You fool.
Right.
You fool.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm drinking. I'm full, and I'm drinking from the salsa. My cup has overflown, and I'm drinking from the salsa. And we have to know. We have to know that's where that coming in to say no. But here's the thing that I've learned in my processes. I go through a lot on a daily basis. I deal with pain I'll be 55 in October. And since I was 4 years old, I don't know a day without pain. I'm sitting here, and you can't assume that I'm sitting here talking to you in pain. My legs are swollen, my feet are swollen, my legs are hurting, my arm is hurting, my back is hurting every single day of my life. And I do an abundance of things, and every single thing that I do takes my mind away from the pain that I'm currently going through. I don't sleep at night. I'm doing something because it takes away. Laying in the bed doesn't work for me because it hurts for me to lay in the bed. So every time I'm doing something for somebody else, or I'm doing something, not that I don't care about myself, it's selfish for me because it takes my mind off of where I am and what's going on with me. And so with that, as women, it's important that we keep talking, that we keep sharing our stories, because listen, our stories are not for us. LaJuan, I promise you that there is somebody out there listening that you have helped by sharing your story, because they don't know that they can get to where you are. So sometimes we're in the midst of what we're going through, and we feel like, okay, am I going to ever get through this? Well, somebody else is looking at us and don't know where we are, that we're in the middle, and they think, oh, they've gone through. LaQuita don't understand what I've gone through because look at her. And they don't know that I'm in the midst of my own hell right now, but I make it look good.
Mm.
What I'm saying. So we have to
Right.
continue to talk to each other and continue to share and continue to lift each other up. And some days we're not going to be all right. And no, we're not going to make it every time. No, I'm not going to be there to hear hear the phone and to hear Jacqueline every time. I'm not going to be there when Jacqueline Young Landy sends me a message and I'm like, oh man, she sent this to me 2 days ago. And knowing that she loves me enough to know that I'm not ignoring her, LaQuita probably just didn't see it. So as women, our stories matter. And we have to know that when we share our story, we're paying it forward. We're helping somebody else. And it's growth. It's growth. And so I wish we had more time. We don't, but I want to take the last couple of minutes to have everybody to say what they're doing, what they're working on, how people can contact you, how can we support you, what projects you have going on. If you listen, if you're selling something, doing something, let us know so we can support you. I'm a publisher, but I buy books. Y'all know I buy books. I buy the books of the people I publish for. I buy everybody's books. I wish I could turn my screen so y'all can see my bookcase over here, my bookcase over there. And I wish y'all could go to my friend Nicole's house because she got several steps. She's a reader. She is a reader. So if you're ever looking for a beta reader, that's the girl. That's the one. She is the one. Okay. And
I don't loan out my books, so don't be sending those people over here. They gonna get their feelings hurt now.
no,
Don't
no,
be
no, not the
sending
no,
them.
no, right. Not the loan. Don't even ask her. But if you're looking for somebody to give an opinion and read your book, she's the one. She will do it. She will do it. So and Nicole, I'm gonna start with you. Tell us, what are you working on? What are you doing, and how can we support you? And guys, just take a couple minutes to do that because we're gonna wrap up and we got to be out of here. Because Kevin love us, but he got another job to go to.
Okay, well, really quickly, I have two books. They're two Christian fiction books, but they are not your mama's Christian fiction. Okay, they got a lot of drama. They got you on an emotional roller coaster. So, but I've been working on a T-shirt line. So, like I said, I found a way to incorporate the things I love. I love God. I love fashion. I love books. So, my T-shirts are book and faith related t-shirts. So it's something for everybody. If you love God, I got some t-shirts for that. If you love books and reading, I got some t-shirts for that. So I'm on Instagram. I'm a little tad bit addicted to Instagram, but so you can find me on I believe it's the Nicole Scott on Instagram. I got my company is Well Read and Saved. So I got the well read for
The
the book
chat.
people and saved for for the faith people. Wellreadandsaved.com. You can go on my website. Thank you.
But what's the name of your two books? You didn't tell us the name of your two books.
Okay. Destiny is the first book, and it's a 15-year-old girl who is out of control, and her grandmother is trying to reel her in, and people love that so much. I made this is the sequel to it. Father, can you hear me?
They are beautiful books, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. They are beautiful books. I had the pleasure of reading the books way before I even knew anything about being a publisher. So
Yes, I'm one of her first authors,
one of
and
my first authors,
I
yes.
love that. Thank you.
Repeat authors, thank you so much for trusting me. Jacqueline, what you working on, girl? What's going on? What you got going on?
Miss Jacqueline, me or
I'm gonna come to Jacqueline Cox, but Jacqueline Young Landy. I know I should say Jacqueline Young Landy. I'm gonna come to Jacqueline Cox last.
as you know, my book is This Is Not a Practice Life. Show up the best version of yourself now. I coach women to be a badass version of themselves now. Yesterday's already gone. Tomorrow is not promised. But all we have right now is now. And I coach women to, in the image, show they can look good, feel good, and do good. Once they know that fashion personality type that matches their body type, that's always going on. And your wellness, of course, and how to manifest your heart desire in your lifestyle.
Yes,
That's
yes.
it.
And Jacqueline, I like that book. And thank you so much, Jacqueline Young Landy, for trusting me, for trusting me to help you take your story from a thought to a realization.
Thank you. Thank you. Much love.
Miss Carolyn Coleman, Gentry, what you doing
Yes.
and how can we reach you and find you?
Just cpwbookshelf.com, and I'm working on a book, maybe two books of short stories right now. I have the Gentry series that's being repurposed, thanks to you. And someone wants me to write an article regarding what I do as a nurse. And so, because I am a nurse case manager. So just little things coming, not little, I'm not putting anything down, but, they do, you want to give it your best shot. You want to give them the best description of what you do and how you get it done.
Global
And,
podcaster.
and
Find her on iHeart and any platforms under Gentry's Journey.
that's my wrecking crew. That's my cheerleader crew, because I do forget to say that. Thank you so much, Jackie. I need to put it on the index card and be like LaQuita and just read my script.
and yet I forgot to say that I am a 3 times international best-selling author. I forgot that. Best-selling author, best-selling publisher. I forget that every single time. So thank you for the reminder.
And I am a I'm a 4-time award-winning author, bestseller, and international bestseller as well. So I do forget that, and I think I shrink myself sometimes because I matter. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I don't think you guys really want to hear that. But it's okay to acknowledge yourself, your accomplishments. It is okay. That is not being braggadocious. It is stating who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, my chair fell down. Miss Jennifer, Miss Jennifer, tell us what you got going on and how can we connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, the digital magazine is always busy. We have a lot of things going on. One of the things that we are doing for International Women's Month is we have a free masterclass every Saturday at 11 from 11 to 12. It is called Unshackling Your Mind, A Journey to Radical Self-Discovery by Jacqueline Lulu Brown. So if you want to liberate yourself, go ahead and check us out. Go to our website under events, I Am Magazine. Of course, it has the little dashes in between, I-am-magazine.com, and register for this free seminar, or it's just a class really. But it's rich with a lot of information. And also we are doing a retreat in Morocco. So if you're ready to travel, now it's when. Again, go to our website and check it out. We'll be in Dubai pretty soon in the month of May. So this is coming up, all of it. We've partnered with Zondra TV. We're doing some episodes on Micro Channel with Lachelle, America Supermom. So if you want or are interested in having your episode and let's talk about what you're doing, again, visit us at www.i-am-magazine.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And you know what? I have enjoyed being a contributing author and sponsor for I Am Magazine for going on what, 3 years, 4 years now. 4 years now. And it has been every issue, it never disappoints. So I have and thank you. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I grow. I feel like I grow with every article that I write. So I love it. I love it. And it's well done, tasteful. Love it. Thank you. All right,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Miss Inez, I haven't forgot about you, Dr. Audra and Jacqueline. I'm saving you for last. Miss Inez, what you got going on? What you doing?
Some of everything, a lot of nothing, and just a whole bunch of things. Trying to get to New York Fashion Week in September, so working on that. Just designing clothes right now, and you can find me at www.anasevalcour.com, and that's for my fashion designing self. And I'm looking at Miss Jacqueline Young Landy's like, I'm gonna have to get with her. She's kind of fashionable out there. So okay, okay. So I said okay. And then also I have Blog Talk Radio, which is www.blogtalkradio.com/let's do it radio. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my episodes are Miss Inez Says Let's Talk About It. So if any of you have anything you'd like to talk about, please send me an email at let's do it radio@gmail.com, and we could be discussing your topic. And so my platforms are open. So just get in touch with me early enough so that we can, I can, do the research if necessary on whatever you're talking about. So you're more than welcome anytime on my show. My shows are at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And what else am I working on? This other thing. I'm always working on something. So just hit me up, DM me on Facebook or Instagram or something, and I can give you the long version of what I do. So, I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to cut it short. And thank you again for allowing me to be on your Her Story show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Inez. All right, Liz, what are you working on and how can we support you?
And some certifications, and I think I'm going to try to compile more of the history of the family. Since my mom passed away, I was trying to compile all her stuff, and she had presentations about trees and different things like that. And so they're saying, oh, you could do a course about that. I'm like, that might be interesting. So it's just all in the planning right now. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, when you get ready to publish, I know a good publisher, so let me know. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, how can people reach out to you? Did you put your information in the chat so people can
Oh
connect?
yeah, I'll put it on there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And Lawan, what you got going on and how can we assist you? You're on mute.
Sorry. Right now I'm just working on my book. I don't want to call it a memoir. I don't even know what to start from, but it's basically my story, it's my journey on what forgiveness looks like and how it shows up. So it goes down my path of how different scenarios and how I forgave and why I forgave. And it gives just a perspective from my view and my experience. I do have a podcast that I have not been diligent in, but after speaking with you guys in this group, I think I'm going to get back into it because it seems like something that's needed, and I need to continue to do that. But outside of that, that's all I really got going on.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Get back into that podcast and let us know. You got some amazing people on here who can help you with this podcast stuff, honey. Okay. You got Jacqueline as a producer. You got Inez. You got it's a lot of people can help you. Miss I Am Magazine. Jacqueline is the podcast queen, honey. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Dr. Audrey Ann. Dr. Audrey Ann, put your information in the chat. Dr. Audrey Ann, what are you
Yeah.
working on and how can we assist you?
Well, I just published my book with the most gracious publisher I've ever met. So, with the most patience, but I published a book called Dead Girl Walking, and it was my number 6 book.
It's great. It's great. You on mute, Jacqueline. She's just screaming on
Jackie
you.
is giving all of us instructions, but I did that, and it was number 1 for short stories, and I was happy about that. It was number 1 for new release, which I was happy for, because that was my personal first book that became a number 1 anything. Before that, I did get bestseller because of most of us were together and we helped each other get bestseller. Um, I have another book called A State of Affairs, Revelation, that was also published last month, and it is book 3 of my Earl Grey Walking series. So I'm really happy about that. I do have workshops available and on different things dealing with wellness and self-care and transition, those sort of things. So you can find all those. I did put my information in the chat, and you can find all those things on my website.
Awesome. Thank you so
So
much. Thank
yeah, and like Carolyn, I've been assigned and reassigned and reassigned. So I've been working on some pretty cool projects here lately. So I'm happy about that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. I wanted to say, and Dr. Audrey Ann, thank you too for trusting me to help you take your story from a thought to a realization. I know it's been shaky because my up and down sometimes be way down and sometimes way up. So thank you for your patience. And I want to say Carolyn Coleman, she has been patient, but I'm enjoying working on the Gentry series. And so Jacqueline, this is the redesign of the first book. This is the cover of Happiness, Hurt, and Healing. So this is the new cover. So I'm excited. And Miss Carolyn just recently approved the cover for book 2. So I'm super excited for this project. So thank you, Miss Carolyn Coleman, for trusting me to take your
Can I
story
say
thought to a
Can I say
realization.
one more thing about Miss LaQuita? I do have another publisher that I was working with before I met you all, and I love her. And so now I have 2 publishers. But I tell you what, I love her. So and I have been spreading her name all over the country.
Well, thank
So
you.
so I love my other publisher, but I love her too.
Well, you know what?
Right.
It's okay to have more than one because everybody in the listen, it's a Burger King and a McDonald's on every corner. So it's okay. I am not a hoarder of resources. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And so we only have a couple of seconds left, a couple of minutes left. And Jacqueline Cox, I want to give you a moment to share what you're doing and how we can how you can connect, and everybody's information in the chat. And I'll share that out. So don't worry about it. Jacqueline, tell us what you're working on and how we can reach you. You have 2 minutes because Mr. Kevin is like, we got to wrap this up at 8 o'clock. And then, so girl, you can do it.
I got to talk really fast because I got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm doing. Okay. So first, I am a global podcaster. The queen, LaQuita has dubbed me the queen of podcasts, and I appreciate it. I'm on 40 different platforms, 10 different countries. I have millions of followers, millions of viewers. I bring on authors, entrepreneurs, anybody with a book brand or business to help you promote. I'm a certified brand strategist. So if you need to speak with me or have a consult with me on how we can get your book brand or business to the next level, I'm open for that. I am also a 3-time bestseller. One with the anthology that I participated in with a lot of these wonderful women that are on here today that went international bestseller, but also for these 2 lovely books that are both bestsellers. This book was 96 days at #1 on Amazon, and it's my memoir, Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes, but today is 216 days, still Amazon bestseller today. And that was with the help of the lovely ladies that are on here today to help me push and promote that. I also am a vessel, I won't say a visionary, but a vessel of my own anthology that I am collaborating with PayProV. And it is called Listen Linda Presents The Women of the Waiting Room. And it's surgery for your soul. And it's basically 7 of us that have come together, all of these women who were guests, prominent guests on my show, who had the most impact of my show and had the most views because of their unique and transparent stories. And so we all come together and we're doing this anthology to give our testimonies about how God delivered us from the waiting room or what we are going through now that we are in the waiting room. And so that is coming out in spring, as well as God has put it on my spirit. And a lovely friend of mine who is not here, Dr. Velma, also came and confirmed to do a devotional that's called Women of the Waiting Room Surgery for Your Soul Devotional. So anybody who wants to give their testimony and maybe give some affirmations, or anybody who wants to be connected to the anthology but may not have the resources or don't have enough time to do 3,500 to 5,000 words, you can come in. It's $125. It pays for basic editing, formatting, and publishing, and get your story out there. You will also receive an author's copy. And that is $125 to participate. That link is in the chat already. So if you have a story that you feel, or you may just want to uplift or encourage another person to know that God will deliver them from their waiting room, you can be a part of this devotional. What else do I have coming up? It's so much. Both of my kids have children's books that are out right now. My husband is a part of a wonderful anthology that's coming out with PayProV Publishing. Look, my whole family is published. We have maybe about 10 books that have been published through PayProV. So my youngest son, he's 7 years old. He has a book that's coming out called My Superpowers Are Not Weird. That should be out before the end of this month, and it speaks on his autism, and it is referenced from the scripture, Matthew 14, verse 4 through 5. My oldest had a #1 bestseller. His book, The Honorable Bee, which speaks on the Bible verse Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts I have for you, and that speaks on anti-bullying and those type of things. So if you want to know more about me, my website is in the chat. You want to know about my kids, my youngest son clothing line, Young Safe Leaders myshopify.com. Go ahead on there. You'll see everything I do. If you need a producer for your podcast, you want to know more about how to build your podcast, book a consultation with me. It's not a lot to speak with me, but if you want to know how to market your brand, how to get out there, or if you just need help producing your show,
Thank you so very much. Listen, guys, thank you so much, so very much for being here. Thank you for your stories, because our stories matter. This is a monthly segment. So What's Your Story is a monthly segment, and we talk about stories. We talk about our stories. And before we go, I want to let you know that 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. So whatever you're going through, don't take for granted that people don't care. People care because there is somebody waiting on the other end of your story so they can get healing from their story. I was looking at the chat, and Kevin, you're right. Sometimes we forget to promote our own selves. So best-selling author. This is a best-selling author of my new book, and it's called The Ability to Outrun Your Walking Limitations: Inspirational Stories of My Pain, Progress, and Victory. I am also working on an abundance of things, publishing. I absolutely love what I do. I have a men's anthology coming out, all men, 22 men who are telling their stories, and the stories are called Our Journey from Boys to Men. Kevin Vaughn is a part of that anthology. I am super excited. He is a part of the anthology. Our Journey from Boys to Men, Things We Learned Along the Way. I also have my third veterans anthology that's coming out. I am super excited about that. That's coming out for Memorial Day. Dr. Audrey Ann is in this book, as well as her husband. They're both in this book sharing their stories. Mr. Cox is in this book. He's actually in the men's anthology, and he's sharing his story in the veterans anthology. I am so excited to partner with Jacqueline on the waiting room. I'm excited, super excited about that. And there are so many different projects that are coming out, so many. I'm working on children's book. I've written a children's book for all of my grandchildren. And the first one is in the illustrations page or segment. So I'm excited. Stage, right. So I'm super excited. I will be doing my podcast interviews with the men. So it's so many things. You know what, Carolyn, sometimes we have to take the time to brag on ourselves, to show people that we can do anything we set our minds to do in the midst of whatever we're going through. So everybody on here is going through something. We're all going through something. Okay.
can I say something really quick?
Quick, real quick.
Melanie had to get off, but she wanted me to let you guys know to follow her on Facebook, Melanie Johnson. She is up for an award for her poetry, a poet award. So if you guys can follow her on Facebook, Melanie Johnson, and look at the pinned link that's on her page at the top and vote for her. Please, please, let's get our girl this award.
Thank
That's it.
you. Thank you. And so with that being said, I want to thank Kevin Vaughn for just being just an awesome, awesome, awesome producer of this show. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, I love you like a fat kid love cake. So listen, if you need anything, if there's anything I can help you do, if you have a story, and I know that you have a story, and you want to share your story, you want to tell your story, reach out to me. You can find me at paprovpublishing.com. That's PAPROVI publishing.com. If all else fails, you can simply Google LaQuita Parks and I will come up. I'm on all things social media. I'm learning TikTok now. So I'm starting to play around in the TikTok universe. But listen, whatever you do, tell your story, share your story. Don't stop talking about your story. Don't stop talking about your story. Call people, talk to them, share, because it's so much room outside. It's not enough inside. All right. So with that being said, guys, it has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Better than a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And until next time, be good, and love yourself. Love yourself, love yourself.